in the early, in the 20th century, in the late 19th century, this became the heart of psychiatry. The concept that life events have created this psychiatric, this individual, and specifically trying to explain diseases like schizophrenia and depression. So there were these really, complicated notions of childhood events or conflicts and stages of development that led somebody to have schizophrenia. Behaviors, we all behave differently. Some people behave in a way when they have stress, they'll do this. Some people are fighters, gamblers. Some people engage in sexual behaviors for a variety of reasons. So all of these are behaviors that we may see. Other behaviors are some people split. When they get upset, they'll start setting people against each other. Some people blame. They turn into a real blame mode. So all these are kinds of behaviors that we may engage in that will affect how we're doing it at a given time. It may give us clues as to how we're doing.
My dissertation is called Long As I Gotta Keep Jesus, because of that song I didn't want him. Long as I gotta keep Jesus, you don't need nobody else. Well, wrong. It says no teacher, no preacher, no doctor, no lawyer. Guess what? That kind of theology keeps us from going to get the help we need.
We're talking about the churches being receptive of people parishioners having mental illness and not having that stigma. Then you've got to understand that the pastor is even in a double jeopardy if the pastor's identified with mental illness if there's a stigma there. So we're going to have to deal with the stigma of mental illness before we can refer parishioners to get help or even the pastor to get help.
Is how to convince a person that they need mental health or need help in the mental health area. Who would like to attack that question? I'm thinking of one of these pastors.
And referring to an individual for mental health, I think you need to make sure that you have their best interest. That you tell them that this is not something that's going to hurt you. If I'm looking out for your best benefit, I got somebody I want to refer you to, and even if you can, you should go with them on their first trip.
Well, just to tag along with what he said, I find that what works best, if they actually come to you for help, they come because they have some level of confidence in you. And so your recommendation usually works a little better than a family member or someone like that.
Now, my congregation is only about 100 a Sunday, okay, so we have joys and concerns. I had one teenage boy get up once every other 2 or 3 weeks and say, I want you to pray for a classmate of mine who parents are going through a divorce and he's thinking about committing suicide. Guess who it was? Jim.
Oh, wow.
So we gotta listen. And then we gotta go to them and say, tell me about your friend. Let's talk about your friend. Bring your friend so we can talk. Because they send me out signals.
Actually ascertaining where the feelings are coming from and how they're viewing themselves, and also knowing exactly what's going on and taking it seriously, not discounting it, not throwing them off to the side. It is the onus of the adult to make sure that you take it seriously and take the child as if they had a cold, as if they had a pain in their side that they couldn't explain, to the appropriate authorities.
And that's if the child is expressive. Sometimes they're in that frame of mind and you don't have a clue. So I take the approach that we need to be involved long before. And sometimes we're not. Sometimes we don't know until it's presented. But you have to be involved in the children's life. Or teacher or whoever. We're not just there just to give a lesson, but be a servant and try to discern what's going on.
Health disparities in our community and how, that starts with things that all of us are affected by. We've got enormous numbers with diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, a lot of other kinds of things that are affecting many of us, and mental illness can be attached to a lot of these different things.
As a church, I would say that we need to be open to all who come to us for help. And we need to be accepting of all who come to us for help. And I know one of the hardest things I find is that when most people come to me, they don't have the financial resources. So our community needs to find some financial resources to help all those who have these health issues and the big health disparities that we have. We need to find some way to find some money to come into our community.
I think the church should be in a position, if they can't take you to the next level, at least be able to recommend where they can go to get that help. All churches are called to do as much as every other church. We know that it takes resources and things like that, but have some resources that you can make referrals or whatever it takes to impact these lives in a positive way.
There are models evolving, something like the cafeteria model, where you have the church assistance model, where a church would buy X number of counseling sessions in advance from a counseling center, and then the church member would just have a small $15 or $20 copay. And then that is one way that if the church has the resources, that they could,